What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to do the 2025-2026 Premier League predictions. So I have my table here, 1 through 20. I'm going to start from 20 and work on upwards. I'm gonna go through all the teams, and we're gonna see where they finish. So let's get right into it. 20th place, last place in the league. I have Leeds. Leeds came up from the championship. They made a couple of signings, like two or three, but I don't think they're gonna have enough. I think they're going to finish bottom. I don't think they're that good. Last time they were in the Premier League, I'm trying to remember. Was it 23? Was it 23-24? No. They went down in 22-23, I think. I'm not sure, but they weren't good last time they were in the Premier League. I don't think they made enough signings. I think they're going straight back down. So in 20th, I have Leeds. 19th, I have Burnley. I think Burnley, I think they signed Broja from Chelsea. They also signed, I can't pronounce that midfielder's name from Chelsea as well. They signed him as well. But they sold James Trafford to Manchester City, their goalkeeper. I don't think they're gonna stay up. Last time they were in the Premier League was a couple seasons ago. They came up and went straight back down. So I'm not too certain about their Premier League survival this season. I don't think they made enough signings. I don't think they made quality signings. I think they'll be better than Leeds, but I think they're going straight back down. I have them in 19th. Last relegation spot, 18th. I have Brentford. I mean, listen, this might come as a surprise. Obviously, based off my list, the third promoted team's Sunderland. I think is staying up. But Brentford lost Mbeumo. They also lost their manager too, Thomas Frank, to Tottenham. And I think Thomas Frank is a good manager. You saw Tottenham's performance in the Super Cup. Even though they lost on penalties, they were 2-0 up with like 5 minutes left. So, I think Tottenham will be a better team. But as far as Brentford, I think a lot of what made them tick was their manager. They're going to lose Wissa as well to Newcastle. They lost Norgard to Arsenal. So I don't think they're going to have a good season. I have them getting relegated. In 17th, I have Bournemouth. And the reason why I have Bournemouth in 17th was because they lost Kirkes to Liverpool. They lost Hoyson, I don't know how you pronounce his name, to Real Madrid. They have Areola, but I saw their transfers and they have a ton of outgoings. They have some incomings as well, but I'm not certain that they're gonna have a good season. I don't think they're gonna have a good season. So I have them in 17th. In 16th, I have Wolves. They lost Cunha, but I look at my table here, and I think, I obviously think the teams above them are better. I think what's going to save Wolves is I think the teams below them are worse. I think Bournemouth's worse. I think Brentford's worse. I think Burnley's worse. I think Leeds is worse. Wolves might finish below Bournemouth, and that's only because of the manager. Areola is a good manager. but I think Wolves have enough to stay in the league. I have them in 16th. In 15th, I have West Ham. West Ham, again, it's very similar to Wolves. I think they have more than the teams below them, but I can't see them finishing that high this season. I have them in 15th. In 14th, I have the last promoted team, and that's Sunderland. I think Sunderland's going to have a good season. They signed Granit Xhaka. They've spent a lot of money. They've spent over £100 million. And in order for promoted teams to survive, they have to spend money. If you don't spend money, you're going straight back down. And that's why I have Burnley and Leeds going straight back down. Because you need to spend a lot of money. You have to be smart with your signings. I think the signing of Granit Xhaka is good for them. We saw how good Granit Xhaka was in his last season at Arsenal. His last season at Arsenal, he was amazing. I remember coming on this channel raving about him. Before that, he was subpar, but that last season he was incredible. I think Sunderland are gonna have a good season. I have them in 14th. In 13th, I have Everton. They lost Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but he's shit, so that's not much of a loss. I think with Everton, they have David Moyes. He's never been relegated. He's a solid Premier League manager. I think they're going to finish mid-table. I just see them being strong. They're moving into their new stadium. They're going to have more fans. I think their home games are going to be more electric. I think their home form is going to be all right. So I have them finishing in 13th. In 12th, I have Crystal Palace. They might lose Eze. They're probably not going to lose Mateta. If they keep Eze and if they keep Mateta, they could finish higher. But I see them finishing comfortably in mid-table. If they lose Eze, they might slide down that table. I hope Arsenal sign Eze. He's been linked to Tottenham in the last couple of days. But I think overall, if Eze leaves, I think they slide down that table. If he stays, I think they finish 12th. In 11th, I have Fulham. I rate Marco Silva as a manager. I think he's a very good manager. They have a good team. They've been finishing mid-table now the last couple of seasons. They've been solid. So they've given Arsenal problems. I think they're a solid outfit. They have Smith Rowe. They have Iwobi. They have some other solid players. They have Anthony Robinson. They have Leno in goal. So I think they're a good team. I have them finishing in 11th. In 10th, I have Nottingham Forest. I think they're going to slip a little bit this year. They lost Elanga to Newcastle. They kept a hold of Morgan Gibbs-White. That was a big transfer saga. That was probably the biggest transfer saga this summer. Or no, I say that it's this Isak transfer saga. That's going on right now. That's the biggest saga of the summer. But I think I obviously think that Morgan Gibbs-White transfer saga was kind of crazy. Tottenham met the release clause. Obviously, Nottingham Forest thought that Tottenham did something illegal, and they were able to keep hold of the player, and they re-signed him. So I don't know what happened there, but they re-signed him. But still, I think they're going to slide down. I think last season they overperformed. I think this season they're going to slide back down. So I have them finishing in 10th. In 9th, I have Brighton. I think Brighton's a good outfit. I think they have a solid team. Their manager now is in his second season. He did well last season. I think they'll finish above Nottingham Forest. I think they're a good mid-table team. In ninth, I have Brighton. In eighth, and this might upset some people, but I don't see how this is that upsetting. In eighth, I have Manchester United. I don't think Man United. Listen, they finished 15th last season. Okay, they finished 15th. There's going to be improvement because Amorim's had a preseason. I think one game a week will help them out. They've signed Sesko, they've signed Cunha, they've signed Embuemo. I think Man United are going to improve, but the teams I have above them I think are better than them. They might finish 7th. At stretch, they finish 6th. But I think they finish 8th. I really do. I think every team I have above them is just better. I think Manchester United finish in 8th. In 7th, I have Aston Villa. They might struggle this season. They're still a good team. They have a very good manager. I just saw a report that they just lost Morgan Rogers to Newcastle. That's a big move. They still have Ollie Watkins. I'm not sold on Aston Villa. I think they can definitely slide down the table this season, but I still think they're a good team, and I think they're going to finish 7th. In 6th, I have Tottenham. I think Tottenham. Listen, Spurs They finished 17th last season. And to be honest, they've only made one signing, and that's Kudus. He's a very good player, Kudus. I think what changes Tottenham is their manager. I think what changes Tottenham is Thomas Frank. I expect Tottenham to make more signings. Savio might come in for Manchester City. They might sign Eze. If they sign those two players, I can see them finishing 5th. I really can. I think Tottenham are going to have a much better season. I think Ange Postecoglou really failed with that Spurs team in the Premier League. He obviously won them the Europa League. Kudos for that. And I don't like saying it because I don't like Tottenham, obviously, as an Arsenal fan, but they did well to win the Europa League. I think this season in the Premier League, I think they're going to be a better outfit. I have them finishing in 6th. In 5th, I have Newcastle. Eddie Howe, solid manager. If they lose Isak, I'm putting Tottenham above them. But as things stand, they still have Isak. As things stand, I still think they're finishing 5th. They just signed Morgan Rogers, as I said. They still have Bruno Guimaraes in the midfield. They have Tonali. They have Joel Linton. They have a solid midfield. They have a solid defense. They signed Ramsdale in goal, who I think will be a good goalkeeper. He was good at Arsenal. He got pushed out, obviously, because David Raya is better. But I think Newcastle will be a good side again if the Premier League gets the 5 Champions League spots again. I think they get that last spot. So Newcastle 5th. 4th. Oh man, you guys might slaughter me in the comments. But 4th, I have Arsenal. I'm not sold on this team, guys. I'm not sold. I'm really, really not sold. I think Liverpool is better than us. I think we can all admit that. Their signings this summer have been amazing. I think Manchester City are better than us. They've made some good signings. Aït-Nouri, Rainers, Cherky, and Chelsea. They just won the Club World Cup. I think people are forgetting this. We won the same amount of games as Chelsea did last season. We won the same amount of games as Chelsea did last season. And Chelsea just came off a season where they finished 6th. They finished 12th the year before that. Last season, I think they finished 4th. So they're slowly improving. And us, we signed Gyökeres. I'm very happy about that. We signed Zubamendi. I'm very happy about that. We signed Kepa as a backup. That's, I think, good business. We signed Mosquera, who I think is a solid center back. And we signed Norgard, who can replace Jorginho well, and Zubamendi can obviously replace Partey. But we had 5 outgoings last season. And we've only had 5 incomings. Neto left, Partey left, Tierney left, Jorginho left, and one other player left that I can't think of right now. But I think this season, I don't think we made enough signings. I think we need 2 more signings. We need Eze and we need Rodrigo. If we sign those 2 players, I'm willing to push us up to 2nd again. But if we don't sign those 2 players, if we don't sign... Look, if we sign Eze and not Rodrigo, I see us finishing 3rd. If we don't sign Eze or Rodrigo, I see us finishing 4th. If we sign Rodrigo, I see us finishing 3rd. If we sign Eze and Rodrigo, I see us finishing 2nd. I don't see us winning the league. I don't. I think this team still needs improvement. So I have Arsenal in 4th. That might sound harsh, but I think that's where Arsenal's going to finish. In 3rd, I have Chelsea. Chelsea signed João Pedro, who's hit the ground running in preseason. I think they signed Hato. They did lose Colwill for most of the season due to an ACL, so that could really hurt them. We'll see what happens with that. They signed that guy from Dortmund. I forgot his name. Another young player, very talented. But they have a solid team. They still have Cole Palmer. They still have Caicedo. Enzo had a better season last season. Reece James is still there. And we signed Madueke. I forgot about Madueke because they sold Madueke to us. I think the signing of Madueke will drag us down. I really do. But, I think Chelsea have a good team. Again, they won the same amount of games last season as us. I think they're going to finish 3rd. Now, 2nd and 1st, obviously, there's only 2 teams left. There's Liverpool and there's Manchester City. However, in 2nd place, I have Manchester City. And in 1st place, I have Liverpool. I think Liverpool have strengthened a lot. I think they've made really good signings. Wirtz, Kirkes, Ekitike. They still might sign Isak. If they sign Isak, it's over, in my opinion. It is over. They just won the league last season. They lost a couple of players. Obviously, rest in peace, Diogo Jota. Tragic car accident. They lost Luis Diaz to Bayern. They sold him. I don't think Luis Diaz is going to be that big of a loss. But if they sign Isak, I think it just confirms their first place status. If they don't, I still think they're going to finish 1st. They signed Frimpong as well, who scored in the Community Shield. So I don't know. I think Liverpool's going to finish 1st. And as far as 2nd, Manchester City, they made some good signings. I'm worried about their right back, though. I'm not worried. I could care less. I couldn't care less. But their right back position is still is still I don't know. It's still iffy. I don't know what's up with Rico Lewis. I don't even know if he's still at the club. If they start Mateus Nunez, I think they're in trouble. But I think for the most part, I think they have a solid team. I think Cherky is really good. I think Ait Nouri is really good. He'll provide width at the left back position. Reiner's in midfield, solid. Plus, they have Marmouche from last January. He came in and he made an impact. They signed another midfielder. They still have Holland. At recording, they still have Savio. They might get Rodrigo. If they get Rodrigo, boy, are they back in the title race for sure. I do think it's a 4-team title race this season. I think Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, and Arsenal are all in a title race. I think Arsenal will fall back. I think Chelsea will fall back. I think Liverpool and Manchester City will be 1 and 2. I think they'll be. I think they'll be at the top of the table. I think they'll be in the title race the longest. But one Liverpool, 2 Manchester City. So anyway, let me know. I'm sure you guys will disagree. Listen, nobody ever agrees on a Premier League prediction table. There's 20 teams. There's so many different options in terms of where you put which team and all that shit. Let me know if you agree with my relegation, mid-table, top 6. Let me know. Leave a comment. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.